celebrating 15 years of Young Turks.
Welcome back. You're watching Young Turks Back to Basics, and we're in conversation with Naren Gupta of Nexus Ventures Partners, one of the large funds investing in Indian startups with over $1 billion of funds under management. Mr. Gupta, I want to come back and talk to you about the role that investors have played in all of this. And you spoke several times about how this course correction ought to have happened earlier. In that letter, there was a lot of talk of how, there was too much capital too early on, too much diversification too early on, not enough emphasis on the business model and getting the business model right, too much emphasis on GMV and not enough on profit. Why didn't the investors force the course correction earlier on?
Well, I think Shireen, we as investors deserve part of the blame. I don't think it is a problem of the founders alone. We are their partners, and yes, we asked for some of these things. We didn't push them hard enough. Maybe we didn't know the answers ourselves. But the reality is that it is hard to see the future. And I'm not giving an excuse for what we should have done earlier. The reality is that we could have done a better job. As investors, we could have done a better job. In the end, we are the mature party around the table. Kunal and Rohit, Kunal Behel and Rohit Bansal, they are young guys. They just started the company in their 20s. They are in their mid-30s right now. So I don't think we can expect them to have all the answers. Yes, you can certainly say that investors deserve some of the blame, and I think we accept some of the blame. We could have asked for it earlier, but I want to emphasize that the credit should wholly go to Kunal and Rohit, not to the investors, because the letter was not written by us, it was not reviewed by us, it was not dictated by us. We didn't ask them to take a salary cut. We didn't think it was appropriate for us. I think it just shows tremendous leadership and courage for them to do what they did. They told us they want to take a path to profitability, and they did it.
Okay.
In terms of taking the first few steps. So I think yes, we definitely deserve some of the blame, if you want to assign blame to people.
No, this is not about assigning blame. This is really a conversation on what entrepreneurs should not be doing, or what investors can also learn from in terms of what we've seen happen over the last few years in India's startup ecosystem. But sir, you're sitting on a lot of capital. You're here in India evaluating some of your existing investments, and I'm sure scouting for new investments as well. Take me through what we can expect in 2017, not just in India, but also the Valley, because you're invested there too.
Yes. So, I think the Valley is also going through a valuation correction, particularly in the consumer space. And that correction, it goes in cycles. Every 6 or 7 years, we go through a valuation correction. In the end, the investors are a combination of fear and greed, and sometimes fear rules the day, and sometimes it is greed. So we are seeing the same dynamics play out in the Valley. Now, let me sort of go back to India here. What you are seeing in India is the emergence of globally leading technology companies. We have funded 2 or 3 companies in the last 2 years that are globally the best. And I see that trend continue. So if you look at what we are doing, we are investing increasingly bigger amounts and in more companies focused on technology. Technology that's appropriate for India and that's appropriate for the global markets. I think some of the things everybody's talking about, AI and deep learning, where we have been investing for the last 5 years, and data-driven companies, I think you're going to see more of those investments here and in the Valley. I think you're going to see somewhat of a move away from consumer products and services companies. Partly because the valuations are too high, and partly because India is still a market which is not like China. It takes much longer to grow consumer product companies.
Anything identified already, sir? Anything on the radar that you're likely to close in on?
No, I mean, I think we tend to make decisions pretty fast, and I think if you had most of the time when we have decided, we probably have closed those things already anyway. But we are looking at a fairly decent set of opportunities, and we are really looking at what makes sense in terms of investing in those companies, both in the technology space and in the consumer space, but mostly in the technology space. I think you're also going to see more of a bridge between the Valley and India. Technology companies, we have found a number of technology companies where one of the founders is here and one of the founders is in the US.
Yeah.
You're going to see much more of that because that really can bring the expertise that is available in India coupled with expertise that is only available in the Valley.
Sure.
Product marketing and product planning and so on. So I think, I should say also that we are learning. We do things, as you know, in venture, a lot of things go wrong and we take write-offs, but we learn from it, and next time we are better. So
Yes.
I think you're going to see a continuous, adaptation on our part. As I said earlier, one of the things we are deeply focused on now is having bigger reserves for future financings.
Right.
So our companies that are doing well are always know that they will have access to capital as they grow. So I think that's really our commitment to our companies, that they have access to the capital.
So let me end then by asking you, sir, in terms of the path to exit now, do you believe, given the current state of flux, the visibility in terms of exits it looks even more uncertain?
But I think one of the challenges in India, as you know, has been, and we have talked about it the last few years, is the liquidity exits. And both on the M&A side and also on going public side. And that does remain a challenge. We have been more successful with the exits because our presence in the Valley allows us to connect our companies in India to potential US buyers. I think that's going to require a combination of more successful companies in India that are public, that can be acquiring candidates, and also some of the things that SEBI and others are working on in terms of simplifying the IPO process. So I think we're going to see more liquidity, more exits. It's not going to be it's not going to be a dramatic change overnight. I think it's going to be a slow change.
Right.
We are focused on it, and we are going to continue to focus on it where appropriate. But I think that's one of the biggest challenges in the Indian venture environment is exits.
Well, that's
and liquidity. Because they are really not many viable buyers in India right now.
Well, there are many lessons to be learned and many challenges to be crossed. But thanks very much, as always, for joining us here on Young Turks. Mr. Gupta, it's a pleasure speaking with you. From all of us here on the Young Turks team, for now, goodbye. Many thanks for watching.
Celebrating 15 years of Young Turks.